less time, less effort, less people.
We're always ahead of the pack, knowing what our competitors are doing it better, and helping our customers being innovative as well. We have one product that will solve all your data problems, irrespective of what the problem is.
Now we have a very holistic solution to go to the customer and say, you don't need to actually look at Qlik as a visual analytics player, but now we have a data integration, AI, ML on top, with Auto ML coming into the picture. And who knows what future holds.
The acquisitions of Qlik World, Trinity is part of Qlik now. That makes Qlik the end-to-end data company, not just a data analytics company. And that gives us a lot of advantage in the competitive market.
The acquisition of Talend definitely going to make a huge difference in our business because there was no proper integration. Now we see the integration and the value.
We happen to be significant global gold partners of Talend, and we're obviously lead partners with Qlik. We're really excited about what that union is going to bring to the market and helping the market to understand the value of that joint value proposition.
As Qlik adds in new tools and new capabilities, it really helps define value at a deeper level for organizations, as well as help us get into different parts of the organizations where, in the past they may have said, if Qlik could only do this, well, Qlik can do this now.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back Itamar Ankorio.
Some time to relax, rest, kind of take in everything you heard about before, start formulating some questions for us and for further conversations later on. So that's great. So we took a break. In the previous session, we talked about the growth opportunities that we wanted to cover to you today. We talked about product and SaaS. We talked about services and customer success and how all of that can help with the growth. And now, as we move to the next part, we really want to talk about Talend, as the opportunity represents, including bringing on stage more of your peers to share their partner perspectives. So to cover that, let me welcome to the stage our Chief Strategy Officer, Drew Clark.
Wow, this is awesome to see everybody in this room. I know Mike mentioned it earlier, Josh and James, but there's been just such energy in here, and just even walking in the very first time a couple of hours ago, and I'm seeing kind of familiar faces that I haven't seen in person in years. So really thrilled to be here to talk with you today. As Itamar mentioned, I look after strategy. And one of the things as part of strategy is corporate development, which is a fancy way of saying mergers and acquisitions. And what I thought I would do for the next kind of session is talk about kind of three things here. We're going to cover three areas. First, I'm going to actually talk with you a little bit more about M&A here at Qlik, give you a perspective on that. The second thing, I'm going to talk about Talend and kind of where we are, kind of why we're excited about the opportunity ahead of us. And then the third thing is we're going to actually bring up some partners, Per and Chris, who are going to talk about their perspective as both a Qlik and Talend partner. So over the last several years, since 2016, we have done 10 acquisitions. Talend will be the 11th. And you, as our ambassadors, as our partners, as part of our ecosystem, often you might have questions from customers saying, well, how should I think about how Qlik is approaching kind of M&A, and what does that mean? And when you go back and you look at the number of acquisitions that we've done, they're very deliberate. We don't just buy a company that's for sale. We actually have a reason, and and I'll take you through some of the logic that we use when we're evaluating on that. But these acquisitions come in kind of really three sizes. They could be a capability, a technology that you would bring in to use, like alerting, which was the acquisition of Rocks AI. It can be a kind of new product line or capability that's oriented at a business kind of users or already a buying center that you're already working with. So we acquired a company called Blender.io a couple of years ago that is now Qlik Automations. Can I get a raise of hands? Who has built automations, in the cloud? All right, it's okay. There we go. All right. Do you know that you are part of 5.2 million automations per day that are being run? So this is about using that workflow, that capability, that application automation, kind of bringing that. Another company that we bought a couple of years ago was Big Squid. Their product went GA 8 months ago in our cloud. And we have over 1,400 tenants running and using kind of Qlik AutoML, in the cloud. Can I get another raise of hands? Who has actually run and worked with kind of AutoML? I see. All right, there we go. Don't be shy. That's cool. There's been 500,000 runs of kind of data against models that were built in Qlik AutoML by those 1,400 tenants who are using it in our cloud. These are solutions that you can take in and you can start to say, okay, this is how I bring it to my customer base, my partners. And then the third category of kind of size of deals is a transformational acquisition. And this is where Attunity came in. So 4 years ago, we got engaged with and talking with Itamar, who is now the global head of kind of partners in our ecosystems. He was the chief marketing officer and head of biz dev at Attunity. And we were making a transformational bet. We were moving into a new buying center. And this is around the domain of the data engineer, the data kind of providers, the IT. And when you're making a transformational bet like that, you want to have gravity. You want to have gravity in a mass that actually builds on itself with momentum. And so what we've had now since Attunity's been part of the family is the business is 3 times bigger than it was when it was independent. It has now kind of been a fuel for moving over 500,000 kind of databases and that information up into the cloud, since being a part of Qlik. It is a gravitational mass that be able to kind of say, okay, how do we build and kind of maintain and move that momentum? When we make an announcement about an acquisition, there are 4 things that have to be true. And there is, first, it's got to be aligned to our vision. The second is it has to have a technology fit. The third is it has to be culturally the right thing to do and a right fit because it is the people who make it work. And the fourth and final, which gets most of the attention by kind of investors, is the financial fit. The deal has to make sense. So much like how you work with customers, we also go through the same kind of process for kind of getting to that vision, technology, cultural, and financial kind of fit to be able to make that announcement. As James talked about earlier today, you, our ecosystem, are an integral part of kind of establishing what that vision is. For 30 years, we've been working with you, with our customers, kind of really linking kind of human intelligence, what goes on between the ears, and kind of data and technology to deliver an outcome. This started with Tetra Pak, our very first customer, our first product with QlikView, and then ultimately to where we are today. And that theme continues to be kind of consistent. And now when we hear from you, we've heard from our customers, we've talked to analysts, and this theme of kind of using data and harnessing data and being able to bring it out to all aspects of the company is a theme that's getting a lot of kind of articulation about data mesh. And you might hear this phrase. Stuart Bond from IDC on Wednesday is going to talk a little bit more about it during a kind of discussion point with James. But this idea of a data mesh, and if you're going to visualize a mesh, is about a process, it's about kind of people, it's about a way of working, but ultimately it is about humans and data for outcomes. The way you actually do something about that data mesh is where you start to get into components of a data fabric. And this is where Talend comes in. Over the years, as Mike Capone mentioned earlier today, we've been talking with, engaging, and very kind of interested in Talend as a company. And, we got to know them more so as we looked at as we went through the process around vision, fit, and alignment. And, as we kind of got to know Talend better and better over the years, what we really became impressed with is how they are a leader in providing a data fabric. There are a couple of key areas of the data fabric. One is around you have to get the data into the fabric, and they are a leader in the Gartner Magic Quadrant around data integration. They are well known for their SaaS capabilities through a platform that they have called Stitch. They have a well-known kind of reputation in the industry around their ETL and what they have from that capability. But they've taken that to the next step. They say, okay, I want to be able to work with that data. I want to be able to put more confidence and trust into what that data is doing. And they've invested in data quality, in the tools of data preparation. And ultimately, it's about harnessing and delivering out on that capability in a way that then sets the foundation and kind of bringing this fabric into kind of an organization. And sometimes that also involves kind of building out the APIs for you to be able to, as a data provider, get that ready for those who need the data and be able to work with it. So as a vision alignment, we were there. From where we started 30 years ago to where we are today, and kind of delivering in a modern kind of architecture in a dynamic environment. But we needed more kind of validation with that. And we talked to our customers. We have many joint customers from the Talend kind of ecosystem. There's over 7,000 of them who are using kind of the product in a variety of ways. We're going to hear more about that from our partner panel in a little bit. We'll get a little more detail, a little more pragmatic on it. But what's interesting when you're talking to customers and you're talking to the field teams is you get a judge about culture. What is it about the company? Where is the ethos of that company? Talend's kind of roots and heritage are European, just like our roots and heritage at Qlik. And there's an innate kind of thinking about the world in a kind of unique way that gets me excited for being part of Qlik, got me excited about connecting in with the Talend teams. It's also about customer success, kind of orientation. It's the domain kind of knowledge, the excitement, the passion that comes in. And so meeting people like Christophe Antoine, and meeting people like Ross McCullough, who's the head of customer success. Christophe is the head of solution kind of sales. And these individuals, they're so passionate about what they do and what the value they deliver to customers. There's a lot of things that are similar between Talend and Qlik. The third part, going back to the four things that must be true, is a technology kind of fit and a fit alignment. What James talked about a little bit earlier around our portfolio, what you see highlighted with the white crosses and the red circle, that's Talend. And this is where Talend, and you're going to see over the next kind of day, more information and capabilities about how the products, today's products, kind of work together. You're going to see on the main stage kind of demonstration on Wednesday with Josh is where you're working with and using both Qlik, our cloud data integration kind of platform, kind of understanding, working, and registering kind of flows and information that could be generated by Stitch, the SaaS data loader. If you're using or thinking about using Fivetran, actually stop, take a look at Stitch. Stitch has over 4,000 customers, and they're running and they're moving kind of data into kind of the environments on a SaaS data into an environment. The next thing you'll be able to see is you'll be able to look at and actually understand as you're progressing through and working and shaping that data is you need to start to work with that data and to be able to tune it, to be able to refine it. And what we've been impressed with is the data prep capability that Talend has. And you're going to see that firsthand. And you're going to be able to look at a data quality problem. It's not just fix data prep or get data ready for machine learning and data science. You can do that too. But you can actually start to look at fixing the data at scale. And this is where you get into the quality and the governance, and this is why Talend is recognized in the Gartner MQ for being a leader in data quality. But it's now you got to look at it holistically, and what you'll see at the very end of the demo, that demonstration that Josh is going to do, is how it all comes together from kind of a data ops kind of perspective as you look at the flow of information around kind of a process and how it kind of is curated and it is confident in understanding what data is being used where for being able to do the decision making that you need to do in a company. So we're not closed yet. We still have some regulatory kind of pieces that we're going through for the approval, but we are partners. That's why Talend is here. They're as a partner, and there's a lot of capabilities that they have that you'll be able to get into. But let me give you a little perspective of timelines on M&A. We go through effectively 3 phases of an acquisition. The first phase is an independent phase. This is where we're kind of getting the teams on board, we're connecting, and we're really kind of wiring in things that work together today. You're getting a preview of how that all works as independent kind of companies. We will come together shortly, and that will move us into the next phase. The next phase of an acquisition is an integration phase. So while you're still running and working independently, we're building out kind of the capabilities of integrating them. And 8 months ago was when Big Squid went from the integration phase to the scale phase. That's the third point. And that scale phase is when you start to actually have the capabilities in the entire distribution channel for people to be able to use in the cloud. So we're going to go through the same kind of phases. Attunity's on a journey. It's a little longer time scale because it's a bigger company. What you see with Qlik Cloud Data Integration is the scale phase of the companies coming together. We're going to go through that same process with Talend. We're going to work independently. You're going to still be able to kind of work and use the best kind of solutions. We will make them interoperate so that you can actually have the success for the outcomes. In the meantime, we'll be bringing the 2 tools together, and you're going to see more and more of that. And ultimately, when the 2 tools come together into one platform, that's where we go through into the 3rd scale. To be clear, you don't have to wait for that. You as partners can start today. And there are 3 types of partners that the Talend teams kind of support and work with. There's a technology kind of ecosystem. What has been great, I met with Ian Mercer from AWS at the Talend event, then we ran into each other at a number of other activities and events, and it's the same kind of team where we were able to kind of bring the ecosystem together. AWS with Ian and Talend and ourselves are super excited about the opportunity. The opportunity that we have with Databricks, with Snowflake, with our Google, with Azure. These are all kind of areas that we're going to continue to kind of work and interoperate and bring together. The systems integrators and kind of the VARs, or value-added resellers, these are kind of programs that Talend has. And this is a robust program that is made up of with referrals, there's resell, and then there's a lot of kind of other capabilities that come in with their program. You can get started with that today. And you just go onto their website, there's a registration, but you don't have to do that. You can actually go to their booth. They're here. There are actually a number of them in the room right now. But go down, introduce yourselves, get connected, see the products that you're going to be able to work with. And ultimately, if you do decide to become a partner, which we encourage you to do, of Talend if you're not already one, is that you'll have access to their enablement and their tools and their platforms. So they have a great partner portal. Within that portal, you're able to access a new kind of solution they rolled out this year called Talend Academy. It is a fully revamped solution for doing kind of learning around reference architectures. What are the tools? What are the best ways to be working with the platform in that area? And related to that kind of tool and platform, what we're going to unveil for you is a product configurator, effectively, to help you kind of look at the different solutions that we have to help you be able to articulate and pick the best ones to kind of leverage and use between Talend and Qlik together for what you need with a customer. What I get excited about with this product configurator, when you see it, it's actually Qlik behind the scenes, and it's an engine in there, because just like our very first customer, Tetra Pak, who was using Qlik as a product configurator and a BI tool, we can still use the power of Qlik for being able to help you, our ecosystem, kind of work with the tools to be able to deliver on that value. But enough about kind of the partner program. You can kind of learn more about it. You can go to the booth. You can go to the 8 breakout sessions that they have, or you can go to the 2 kind of workshops that they have. But instead, let's actually take a pause and let's hear from 2 partners. And I'm really pleased to kind of introduce and kind of bring up 2 colleagues, Chris and Per, from kind of the ecosystem, and I'll introduce you as you kind of come on up. So come on up, welcome up. We're here. We made it. All right, so thank you very much for coming in. So Per, you were a Qlik partner since 2009.
Yeah, that's right.
2009. So QlikView. All right. So I've been here 12 years, not as long as 2009. So you've got me by a couple years. So tell us a little bit more about today.
Today is a pretty large company in the Nordic region. We're about 2,500 people, consultants, 600 of us.
Wait, 2,000?
2,500 people.
Ah, you're bigger than Qlik.
Yes, we're pretty big. We're pretty big. 600 of us is working on analytics, business intelligence. So we're a large company.
Yeah, you know what you're doing. You're kind of oriented on that.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. So tell us about the journey. Because I think there's a number of partners like you who started with QlikView, who started at that point, and then as you worked with customers, over the last couple of years, you saw a trend kind of going on towards the larger enterprise kind of needs and tools. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, that's right. When we started with Qlik in 2009, it was very tough to talk to the customer saying that you needed a data warehouse or data platform, because there's been so many failures on that. Then we just used Qlik script to help them build sort of an internal data platform. We did a lot of land and expand with the Qlik, very successful. But as the customers grew, and the data volume grew, the complexity, the data velocity, we needed to actually build a more robust data platform. And that's one of the reasons we started to look into Talend.
Okay.
The guys that I worked together with was actually the same people that brought Informatica and SAP Data Services into the Nordics. So we had quite a lot of experience using tools like that. But we wanted something more modern, and Talend came to mind.
Okay. So similar to our own journey in talking with our customers, we saw where analytics, the agility that QlikView, provided from a rapid app development to kind of the adoption and the move to self-service. Then you're moving into enterprise scale, and you started looking at the data integration kind of capabilities and platform. And can you tell us a little bit more? You said you looked at a little bit of Informatica, SAP, but you settled on Talend, and you've got like a number of customers using Talend. Where does that come into play? How do you think about that?
Yeah, we actually have quite a few customers running Talend, and they're all Qlik customers. We brought Informatica into the Nordics in the mid-90s, so we were kind of thinking of that as old technology. we wanted something more modern, basically, yeah.
Excellent. We're going to pause here because we're going to talk about some of your customer examples. Chris, all right, we go back a long time, 15 years or so, previous companies, but great, thank you for joining us. Tell us a little bit about SDG.
So SDG is a global systems integrator, similar. We're about 1,800 people now globally. Founded in Italy, expanded throughout Europe, made our way to Iberia, a little bit towards the Middle East now, Northern Africa, and then the US. So the US is our most recent footprint, about 5 years now. But we specialize in only data and analytics, it's the only thing we do. and we pride ourselves on the depth of our technical knowledge as well as our industry knowledge.
Okay, did you see a similar trend over the last number of years of going from analytics, kind of self-service, rapid kind of development to enterprise scale? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting comment you brought up because we actually have some customers that don't even have, smaller customers, don't have full warehouses. So one of the nice things about Qlik was you gave them an architecture where they can bring data from multiple sources, kind of create a de facto data warehouse, but get moving from a business perspective. And we would always architect that in such a way that it represented what a data warehouse could look like. But we saw a huge shift moving towards that enterprise scale, especially as a lot of the cloud data warehouses could start handling the volumes. There was a huge push towards that back-end enterprise scale. And I think companies are still at different places, right? You'll still get some that are low on the maturity curve and still need that ability to pull data together quickly. And then you have others that are much more, they have a more robust team and have a focus on building out that enterprise scale. So in their case, they're going to be back more on the technical side, building that foundation. So for us, it's a little bit of, it depends on where the customer is. How do you help them get to that enterprise situation in a way that matches with their ability to get there?
Yeah, so talking about our customers, back to you there, is, you were sharing with, of course, I only remember kind of the reason why people were on the ferries going from Norway to kind of Germany and the other parts was to, buy things.
Yeah, to get cheaper alcohol.
Yeah,
cheaper in Norway.
Yeah, get around the tax. We have that on the Mexican border here, as well, and the Canadian border. It goes both ways. So tell us about a customer that you're using Talend and Qlik around, and some of that use case that really comes to life with the ferry kind of service that you have.
Sure. One of the large customers we have is a company called Talend. They operate a lot of ferries between, among other things, Norway and Germany. And one of the issues they had was actually data quality, master data management, because people were ordering tickets through a lot of channels, and they could never be sure if this was a customer they've had before, or how they should handle this with the loyalty systems and stuff like that. So they needed to get good control of master data and data quality. And that was one of the things that we were solving with Talend. They also had a lot of requests for building more robust APIs, because they developed a lot of internal applications on iPhones, on web portals and stuff, both for use internally but also for the customers. So being able to use Talend to sort of expose data through APIs was also extremely required for them.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So using kind of data integration to the data quality, API portals, and then still kind of being able to leverage it for different use cases inside the company.
So we use that to build the data platform as well, and also for application integration. So it's actually covering most of the aspects you have in the slide.
There we go. Yeah. So again, it's great. Just like, customers are great proof points to kind of capabilities, and learn more about the company. Chris, over to you on customer examples of kind of where you've seen kind of some of the trends and themes, where you're kind of upscaling on this enterprise kind of side of there.
Yeah. So you said examples, so I'm going to do two quick ones.
Okay, two.
So the first one I wanted to mention was important because it touched on something we were talking about a moment ago, about why would a company go towards Talend versus others. So I think of Hayward Industries. It's a medium-sized manufacturing company, and they were struggling with understanding their performance globally. They needed a warehouse. The data was fragmented all over the place. So we helped them to decide on what type of database they should go with, and then also what kind of data, say ETL for lack of a better word, but it was more broad than that, capability. And so we evaluated Talend along with Informatica, along with Microsoft, as well as several other technologies. And in the end, what they were looking at, when you look at the market, it's somewhat fractured, right? You'll get technologies that do little bits and pieces of things. So then when you get one, you need another that maybe one's doing orchestration, another needs to do the engineering component. You have to kind of bring them all together. And clients don't want to buy that many technologies. So in the end, what was nice about Talend is it did more than most in terms of the capabilities. It had the data quality you talked about before, which is a big thing, not just the engineering component, and it had all the features that they needed, and it was more price competitive than, let's say, Informatica was. So in the end, I think that was a really good example of someone looking and figuring out which is more code-oriented, which is more GUI-oriented, that's going to match my culture. And so that was a good example of a small company. And then a much larger one, Astellas, we do a lot in the pharma space, so we have a lot of big pharma clients. And this one was really focused on how do I do with volumes of data. So you're talking billions of records of data across many brands. How do I operationalize that? How do I create something? What's nice about Talend is it gave us the ability to build a very modern kind of approach. And by modern, I mean we created a whole metadata-driven solution that allowed us to automate, it allowed us to bring data quality. It was like a governance by design, as we called it, to help move that data in a continual way that didn't require as much support from and manual work from their team. So that's another good example of someone expanding with data and volumes and needing some modern approach, which Talend was able to support.
It sounds like and able to scale, as you were able to do that.
Yeah.
So Chris, what advice would you give to this group around thinking about the opportunity ahead of them?
Yeah, so I know there are different types of partners, so I guess the advice I could give is coming more from our perspective as a consulting firm. I'd say a few things. One is think about your teams and educating them and training them. So we always talk about certification, not just for the fact of being certified for the vendor, but more using it as a training mechanism. And we often find that from a career enrichment perspective, we can take people that are, let's say, in the business analytics practice, have good industry knowledge, good data knowledge, good focus on that, but then we want to enrich their career by helping them move into data management engineering. So we sometimes will shift our resources to expand their capability, and then like Qlik, they can cover the whole process of data and analytics. So I'd say make sure you're focused on that. Then the other thing is, think about the value you bring as a partner. So I look at us and I think, okay, industry knowledge, functional knowledge, integration with other technologies. And from there, what we try and do is build solutions that show the art of the possible of what you can do with these technologies. And so as an example, and I mentioned we do a lot in pharma, we have a whole series of solutions, or let's say solution accelerators. And one of the nice things about that is you can build an end-to-end solution for a certain use case, or many use cases, and then bring your whole partner ecosystem with you. So as an example, we have something with a technology, a source system and technology called Viva, which is a really popular CRM and clinical system in the pharma space. We've built an application that allows us to ingest data from Viva, but no one looks at just Viva data, so we brought in Viva, IQVIA, all kinds of other sources. We created a data model that's specific for the use case. We then put visual applications on top of it to show the art of the possible, and then we go to the market saying this is a good way of accelerating your implementation. What's powerful about that in terms of getting market traction is that we're kind of going with the ecosystem, right? So that happened to be with AWS, Talend, Snowflake, and Qlik. So now we're going to market with AWS, Talend, Snowflake, and Qlik, and it broadens your audience, and it helps to bring credibility to those discussions. So if you have any of those technologies or any domain expertise where you can create these accelerators, for lack of a better word, I think that's a good way to get yourself started if you're new to the talent area.
Yeah, the solution kind of orientation just is a force multiplier for you.
Absolutely.
As you think about that. Now, Per, you've got the perspective, you got the Nordics kind of viewpoint from Norway. What would you actually give an advice to this group around what to think about with the Talend and Qlik opportunity here?
Well, there's a vast number of opportunities. Get to know the platform. It's not just one product, it's actually several covering different aspects. Go to the Talend Academy, have a look at the training there, do some certifications. Really exciting what they put into the new version of the Academy.
Those certifications really demonstrate to a customer and then to the ecosystem that you understand the enterprise class capabilities that are there, and it's a way you can differentiate.
Yeah, we use that a lot internally, and maybe we sort of give money to the people who do certifications, and it looks good towards the customers that we do have a lot of certifications. And the Talend ones aren't the easiest, so it actually proves that you understand the technology and the platform.
Yeah.
So they're very good.
Yeah, all right. Well, Per, Chris, thank you very much for joining us. Everybody give them a nice round of applause. All right, so I'd love to introduce back my friend, Itamar. And as I mentioned before, as we kind of talk about cultural alignment between kind of companies and organizations is an important part of anything that we do from a philosophy and a framework around companies and acquisitions. And it's exciting to see all of the Attunity team who are still kind of working with, and more importantly, have taken on kind of broader leadership roles. So it's been a thrill for me to watch Itamar today. Everything he's been doing around kind of the ecosystem, working with you. So please join me in welcoming back Itamar and Corian.
All right. I think this is the final time I'm back on stage. Almost done. So again, thank you, Drew, and thanks to Per and to Chris for their great perspectives on Talend. Great opportunity, for everyone. So I know we've learned a lot. We've covered a lot of areas around the potential growth and opportunity. And I just wanted, before we kind of conclude with the final words, just to point out there's a lot more opportunities to learn here while you're here. We have over 100 sessions. Okay, so a lot of sessions by Qlik, by Talend, by our customers, and by you, our partners. In fact, about 75% of the sessions have either a customer or a partner. So again, a lot to learn from. So I encourage you to go and join as many sessions as you can. As you will see, the sessions are all around the expo floor. So if you can see on the screen here that all the theaters are around the expo floor, so you can easily get from one to another. And I encourage you to see as many sessions as you can. And then in the expo itself, again, this is kind of a graph and a way of showing what it looks like. But there's a data integration area where you can learn about Qlik data integration, to its right analytics, or about Qlik data analytics. You can see the Talend area, so you can go and learn more about Talend, that Drew mentioned earlier. Either people that are here, maybe inquire more about the partner program. And then we have other booths, of course, for our other sponsors throughout. In addition, there are 3 other booths I want to kind of call out. One is the Partner Pavilion. So that's a booth staffed with QPP, partner program specialists that can help you answer questions and discuss more various topics of our partner program, the program, operations, marketing systems, renewals, and a lot more. Actually, in the Qlik in the app, you can in the event app, you can see like a doctor's office hours for this booth that will kind of call out what you can see when. So some of the topics will be there all the time and some specific hours, so you can make sure to come at those times. We also have our Cloud Partner Lounge, the Cloud Partner Lounge, where you can learn more about our key strategic technology partners, AWS, Microsoft, Snowflake, Databricks. There's going to be some experts there ready to help you answer questions. And finally, we have the Partner Engineering booth, staffed by our Partner Engineering team, where you can find and see some cool demonstrations, integrations, innovations, and I encourage you to visit that booth as well. So with that, let's conclude with our final award recognitions to our global partners. To do that, first of all, I'd like to invite our Chief Revenue Officer, Steven Beardsall, to join me on stage. Steven? Our first set of awards is all about innovation, and we've got 2 categories, one for technology alliances and one for system integrators. To get started, I'll start with the technology alliances. During 2022, this partner collaborated very closely with us, with Qlik, to deliver integration capabilities that offer very deep and unique value proposition for customers who want to create new modern architectures around the lakehouse. The product level collaboration, the investments they made on their side, the integration and the support of the Qlik partnership took our relationship to the next level in 2022. So with that, please join me in congratulating Databricks as our 2022 award winner for Technology Cloud Innovation. That provides Dr. Finally, next up is our Global Partner of the Year awards. We're going to start with our Global Technology Partner of the Year. And I'm very excited to share this. With this partner, with this award, we recognize the global growth, significant growth we've seen, and the strong alignment across various business functions, resulting in continued joint customer success. Together, we and this partner help customers close the gap between data and action in multiple joint solutions. There's a lot of design wins and integrations across our mutual services. We do a lot of co-marketing and provide unique commercial benefits, to the market and to our customers. The success of the relationship is also reflected in the amount of joint customer wins that we had last year, including a record number that were completed through this partner's marketplace of achieving 2x year-over-year growth. Please join me in congratulating Amazon Web Services as a technology partner of the year for the third year running. I'd like to invite David Dealwood, Head of Data and Analytics, Strategic Alliances at AWS, to receive the award. And now for our final award of the day, for the Global System Integrator Partner of the Year. This partner leads the way in almost every partnership category that we measure, including total contract value, annual contract value, sourced revenue. And with growth of over 30% year over year, they provide tremendous impact for us in the market. They lead the way in service offerings linked to all of our products, and they provide value to our joint customers in all regions around the world. For the third year in a row, I'm thrilled to announce Accenture as our 2022 Global System Integrator Partner of the Year. I'd like to invite Matt Guan, Accenture's Global Lead for Data and AI. That's it. All done with the awards. Congratulations to all the winners. Thank you very, very much for your partnership, your contribution. Thank you so much. And with that, we're going to wrap up and conclude the Partner Day. Once again, I want to give a big thank you to all of you, all of our partners. Thank you all to our award winners, to our Partner Advisory Council members who are also here, and to our partner ambassadors. Thank you all for coming here. And special thanks also for our sponsors, of course, that help make all of this possible. Again, thanks everyone. I look forward to seeing all of you soon at the reception. Thank you.